If you come into Toronto soon and you want to experience it just as locals do, then just follow this guide.
Hey, my name is Anna and I have lived in Toronto for 5 years, and in this video we will tour as much touristy as local and hidden gems in the city because there's really so much to explore. And I will take you around the city with a little bonus of food recommendations in each area because I have a soul of a Korean grandma and I think no one should travel hungry.
Okay, before we jump into the stuff that locals do, aka cool stuff, let's cover the basics. Yonge and Dundas Square, or you can call it the Canadian Times Square. There is really not much to do here. It's always extremely crowded and it does not smell nice, believe me. I would recommend you spending around 2 minutes of your trip for this location, unless you want to take a moment to appreciate all the ads around you. Nathan Phillips Square is something that locals don't really notice much unless there are community events are held or during winter when the whole area downstairs becomes a nice rink. CN Tower, aka Toronto's postcard shot. It was built in 1976 and for around 30 years it was the tallest freestanding structure in the world. Now you can go up to the observation deck for 360 views of the city, of the lake, or you can do even the edge walk. But if you come close to the structure itself, you're not gonna see much. And the last one is Toronto Transit Commission. Subway, buses, streetcars, everything in one system. I would say that you must download a Presto app because Presto is the card that you use to pay for the rides. But now you can actually just download the app and load the funds there and just keep paying from your wallet on your phone. One ride is $3.30. Without the Presto card, it's gonna be more expensive. We're gonna start off the tour at Bloor Yonge intersection, which is the main intersection of the whole city. First off, this is the place where the two of the busiest Toronto subway lines cross. Line 1 that goes from north to south and line 2 that goes from east to west. So thousands of people pass through here every single day. But it's more than just a transit hub. It actually feels like it divides the city into two parts. Everything that goes from Bloor northbound is less busy, more residential area of Toronto, and everything southbound towards the lake is where Toronto's hustle and bustle is located, pretty much the downtown area. So let's go and explore.
Around Bloor Yonge intersection, you will find office towers, various stores, and plenty of restaurants. This intersection is a symbol of how Toronto brings things together. Old and new, fancy and everyday, all moving through the same space. It's chaotic sometimes, but it's exactly what makes it feel so alive. Also, you will hear me refer to Yonge Street a lot, and this is because Yonge Street divides the city to east and west side, creating really different vibes in each area.
We walked a little bit to the west side of the Bloor Street and we are now ended up in Yorkville. If you are a fashion girly, you might be interested in strolling through Yorkville. In my opinion, one of the most overrated areas in Toronto. And I'm not just saying that because of all the luxurious brands that are located here, but because it's just literally two narrow streets that are packed with tourists, expensive cars that are most likely stuck in traffic, and quiet, mediocre restaurants. But still, it's a nice area to check out. Interesting fact about Yorkville is that back in 1960s, this area was a hippie neighborhood, which is now so fascinating to think about it. There were a lot of coffee shops and folk music around here, probably similar to Greenwich Village in New York or Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco. And interestingly enough, now here's Chanel. What?
But all jokes aside, even though now it's totally transformed, you can still spot some traces of its artsy roots in galleries and hidden gems between all the luxury. Yorkville today feels like a blend of sophistication and charm. Walking through its streets, you're surrounded by a mix of historic brick houses, many converted into boutiques or cafes, as well as sleek new high-rises. Well, since I mentioned that some of the restaurants here could be a little disappointing, let's get to local food recos in Bloor Yonge and Yorkville area. For breakfast or coffee, I would say Cafe Landwehr, Goldstruck Coffee, Pilot Coffee Roasters, or Neo Coffee Bar. For fancy Italian, that would be Sofia Restaurant, Trattoria Nervosa, or Italy. For bar, if you want food, then Oxley. For just drinks is Hemingway's. Fancy bar would be Aloe Bar. For quick lunch, Mendy's Salads or Barbecue Express, which is a local bodega in Yorkville. By the way, all of these places will be saved on the Google map and shared with you in the description of this video so that you can click on the link and see all the spots marked on the map. And I know you already love me and you can thank me later. Just a few steps away from Yorkville, you will find the Royal Ontario Museum that holds approximately 40 galleries and 18 million items. So there is really everything from dinosaurs to contemporary art, and every third Tuesday night of the month is free of charge, so check their website for more details.
We've probably chosen the hottest day of the year to film this video and I'm melting. We are now in Queen's Park, which is not only beautiful green escape in the middle of downtown area, but it's also home to Ontario Parliament buildings. You'll oftentimes see people jogging here, just chilling on the grass, and a lot of students as well, because University of Toronto is located just nearby this park. And I honestly just adore this place because it feels like a small piece of calmness in the middle of the craziness of downtown. Well, nothing really beats this place, and this is the campus of University of Toronto, the oldest campus, St. George. When I first came to Canada and I saw the campus of U of T, I honestly felt like I was a character in a movie or something because its architecture has absolutely mysterious vibe. But I don't know why I keep talking. I should just better show you.
Honestly, walking through the campus feels almost like stepping into a small city within the city. There are plenty of quiet green spaces, libraries, and study halls tucked into heritage stone buildings. The St. George campus is massive. It has over 100 buildings, including world-class research centers, lecture halls, libraries, and residences. And even though I never studied at University of Toronto, I always loved coming here because it was always the kind of place where you could wander, clear your head, and get inspired, whether you were there to study or just soak in the vibe of one of the most beautiful campuses in Canada.
Perfect, thank you. In University of Toronto campus, you would see food trucks lined up. Most of them are closed down by now because it's after 5 p.m. and it's actually a Sunday, so I'm not even sure they're operating on the weekend. One is open and we're gonna get a hot dog to try. I've never tried any food trucks in this area, but I'm gonna do that so that I give you the right recommendation. There are not too many places to eat in the campus itself, but outside of the campus, if you go north or south, you will definitely find great spots, and I'm gonna talk about it a bit later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Nice. Carb loading. I'm really supposed to feel like a student eating a hot dog on a campus. I was always too broke to be studying in the University of Toronto, so at least I can do that. The sausage itself is pretty big. That's what she said. Nice. It was $6.71.
I know, I did not invent the vehicle with this hot dog, so here are more good food recommendations around the campus. I'll start with my top favorite, which is Sushi on Bloor for fabulous Japanese, and Yummi for Japanese grill, Piano Piano for Italian, Crafty Coyote for great burgers and beer, Eat BKK for Thai.
Hello, this is the second day of exploring Toronto, and today we are on the Lakeshore. The Lakeshore. Did you see that, dog? If you didn't know, but Toronto is sitting on the massive Lake Ontario, which is actually one of the 5 Great Lakes in North America. Pretty significant. What's really cool about this place is that it used to be very industrial with all the warehouses, shipping yards, and factories. And for the past few decades, Toronto has been really reclaiming the Lakeshore and transforming it into more residential areas, building a lot of parks, communal areas, and trails. So when you come here, you really have 2 options to fully enjoy the experience. First one is to bike alongside the waterfront to a more scenic spot, even more scenic than this. The second option is to take a ferry to Toronto Island. We're gonna do both in this video, and I do recommend you do both as well. So let's go.
And just like that, just a short ferry ride from downtown Toronto, the Toronto Islands feel like a whole different world. In total, there are about 15 small islands, but most people know the main 3 ones: Center Island, Wards Island, and Hanlan's Point. And today, we've chosen Wards Island since it is the most authentic in my opinion.
Another cool bit of history is that in 1850s, the islands actually used to be a peninsula, and then the storm basically cut it off from the mainland. And now we've got this beautiful, peaceful, car-free slice of nature right across from downtown Toronto.
Even though Center Island is the most popular spot with picnic areas and a small amusement park, Wards Island has a very different energy. It is the quieter, more residential part of the islands. Here you will find charming cottages and houses that really create a village atmosphere. What makes it even more special is that people here live all year round. In winter, the ferry still runs daily, but life here goes at a much slower and peaceful pace. And you might be wondering, how do people purchase houses here? Well, it's definitely very unique when it comes to property ownership on the islands. There is a regulated waiting list which interested buyers join, and when the house comes up for sale, the first person on the list gets it. Some people have spent more than 20 years in the wait list though. The buyer must be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, and they cannot use this property as a vacation cottage or a rental. It must be their permanent place of residence. While we are not planning to purchase any properties on Toronto Islands, no matter which part of the islands you visit, one of the most important things to do when coming to the islands is to stay for the sunset. And I know you're probably going to be sick from this view by the end of this video, but let's just agree that Toronto has done a pretty good job here. Hey, you thought that I forgot that we also have to bike alongside the waterfront? Well, hell no. I'm determined to take you to Trillium Park, which is the west point of the Lakeshore. The entire bike ride is honestly a bliss. You have the designated bike lane, you get the views and a little breeze from the water, and at maximum the entire ride should take you around 15 minutes.
So beautiful, wow. I think it's my favorite spot. Thank you for showing me, truly. It's so peaceful. You would never guess here that it's so loud out there and busy and people are rushing. Here, zen.
I paid you to do that.
Since we're already exploring the west side of downtown Toronto, let's quickly stop by Liberty Village, one of Toronto's trendiest neighborhoods. Once an old industrial district filled with factories and warehouses, Liberty Village has been transformed into a hub of loft-style condos, creative workspaces, and popular local cafes. The atmosphere here is young and energetic and kind of community-driven. You'll see people walking dogs, grabbing drinks, and filling patios on the weekends.
Within 10 to 20 minute walk from the Trillium Park, you can get to Liberty Village, which is a residential area, and it became busier with time. A lot of restaurants opened up there and people just come there to hang out. It's a very vibey, modern kind of neighborhood. So you can go there, you can go to King West, Queen West, and also Ossington. This is where we are right now. A lot of people might say that Ossington Strip is super overrated, but it has tons of good quality restaurants. Some of these restaurants became like real gems of Toronto, and they are all located on one strip. So if you're looking a place to have dinner after all the walking and biking that you did throughout the day, then I would highly recommend you coming here. We personally haven't decided where we're gonna eat dinner, but we'll do that now and take you along with us. In terms of food recommendations, I'm gonna name a few. Bar Chosin, I don't know if I pronounced it right, but it's a Japanese tapas bar. Then we have Côte de Boeuf, well-known restaurant for its steak and steak tartare. I honestly would sell my soul to eat there every day. Absolutely love it. A little fancier and more expensive restaurants, I would say Bar Kukla and Mama Castaverna. We decided to go for Italian tonight.
Yes.
But that place seems tiny. It's called Super Point. I've never been there. If we don't get the table, we're probably gonna do just like takeout pizza. Yeah.
I love this area.
Today we are going to be exploring east side because west is super busy. It's 5 o'clock on a Wednesday and I'm not supposed to be stuck in a pedestrian traffic. And now let's go and explore.
Heading over to the east side of the city, you step into one of Toronto's oldest yet most stylish neighborhoods. The streets here are lined with design shops, furniture studios, giving it a very creative, almost like a European feel. But what really draws people to this part of the city is really two main landmarks. At the heart of it is St. Lawrence Market that has been feeding the city for over 200 years. Once you enter, you would see a flower shop with really unique flower options, and this is what St. Lawrence Market is all about. Here you will find everything from high-quality meats, cheeses from all around the world, fresh farmers' produce, every type of fish, raw or cooked or salted, crazy variety of seafood that can be served to you right on the spot, fabulous fresh pasta and homemade sauces, and if you're lucky, you will also get a sample of delish ravioli like we did. You can get freshly cooked seafood or sandwiches or pastries here that would taste amazing. And also, if you're a kitchen utensil maniac like me, you would be pleased with this little corner that has all and more that you would need to be a great chef. To sum up, even if you're not there to grocery shop, it's really worth visiting just for the aesthetics of this place. Recently, the second building of the market finally finished construction just across the street, but unfortunately it was closed on that day that we were there. By now, it was the time for a quick lunch for us, so we grabbed a few burritos and headed to the second gem of the east side of the city.
We just devoured a massive burrito. I had one with pulled pork. Absolutely recommend the spot. It's really not obvious that there is a hidden gem, but it was super affordable. I think I paid $11 for it. And again, just a reminder that all of the restaurants that I'm mentioning in this video will be saved on the Google map that you can download and have accessible on your phone or device that you're using. So the link is in the description.
In 19th century, Distillery District was a whiskey distillery, and ever since then the area has been reworked into a pedestrian-only village of red brick buildings filled with galleries, boutiques, cafes, and restaurants. There's always something going on. For example, this July they held an open-air movie theater, and in winter this entire area becomes a magical Christmas market. If you're looking for some indoor activities, another great recommendation here would be stopping by Yummi Candle's store. Not only there are a million options for gifts and souvenirs to take home with you from Toronto, but they also hold candle making classes where you can make 8 candles yourself, choosing any scent of your liking for only $90 per session, I believe. The studio looks very professional and inspiring, so that I wanted to do class myself. But if you're ever in Distillery District, then I highly recommend you checking this out. And now, I think we've toured enough of relaxing weekend-like spots, so let's jump into the grind of the city. The financial district is Toronto's business core, home to Canada's major banks, law firms, and Toronto Stock Exchange. The pace here is noticeably a lot faster. People are rushing in and from the offices for quick lunches and meetings, and honestly, I don't know how about you guys, but these views and energy do not get old for me. I would grab lunch and sit down in one of these outdoor little nooks to take a breather, and in summertime, it was often my go-to solo date spot.
So whether it's a Monday morning or Saturday night, I feel like this area never gets slow or quiet. So just keep in mind that everything going on King West, Queen West, Adelaide, Richmond, those are the streets that are usually the busiest because the business, the culture, the nightlife live here side by side. And this is exactly what makes this part of the city the most dynamic of all Toronto.
Even though it might seem that King West is only packed with towers and office buildings, and you don't even seem to notice any lunch spots, restaurants, or stores, and that is because all of that is located underground.
Most of these buildings are connected underground with the path system. Technically, during winter, you can live your office life without even going outside because the path is also connected to Union Station, which is the biggest transit hub in Toronto.
Which takes us to another Toronto's highlight, and it is an underground path network, the largest underground pedestrian system in the world. Stretching over 30 kilometers, it connects more than 70 buildings, 1,200 shops and services, and multiple subway stations. For locals, it is really essential during Toronto's cold winters or hot summers, or like today, it started raining and I walked all the way from the financial district to entertainment district, all underground. For tourists, it's also an interesting way to explore the city from below because you definitely will not expect that level of infrastructure and convenience that path provides.
Enough of the business. Are you ready to hop to next location? Because it's going to be Chinatown!
I know, Toronto Chinatown is not really a tourist attraction, but this is what I love about it. It is not polished and it is so authentic and real. It's an absolute gem for affordable hearty eats, and if you're staying in Toronto for a longer period of time, then it's worth checking out the grocery stores here because they often got cheap produce and they also do not charge any taxes. And just a few steps away from the busy streets of Chinatown, you enter Kensington Market, which is the city's cultural melting pot. The streets here are concentrated with vintage shops, global food stalls, and street art. The market has roots going back to early 20th century when Jewish and European immigrants opened up small shops and bakeries here. But today, it is a mix of cultures from all over the world. Now we headed back toward the downtown core to see one of Toronto's newest landmarks. The Well is not only a shopping arcade, but it is actually a lot larger development with residential towers, office spaces, restaurants, and food markets. When you're at The Well, it feels like an entire new neighborhood of Toronto and not just in another mall. The Well has quickly become one of city's go-to destinations for dining and socializing, especially because there is a Wellington Market, aka a fancy food court, where a lot of popular food gems of the city are gathered. I always have a choosing fatigue here because honestly, every spot here is so good, but today I just wanted something simple and rewarding, so I got myself fabulous fish and chips.
I dropped it. The whole thing. Oh wow, life is good.
It was crispy, juicy, and perfectly seasoned, literally chef's kiss, especially with a happy hour glass of Prosecco.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I've spent an entire week with you guys. I am exhausted just as a tourist would be that has a limited time frame when they need to explore the city, all of the ins and outs of it. And I'm also really happy that I could relive all of the emotions and first impressions when I first came to Toronto 7 years ago. I think a lot of people have love and hate relationships with Toronto because first of all, Toronto is not very a touristic city. Obviously, if you compare Toronto to other mega cities like London or New York, then Toronto is gonna seem low-key. But in this video, I really wanted to show you that Toronto also has its special things that make the city a place where you would wanna come back. Toronto has become more than just home for me. It's truly the city that I love. I love the energy and dynamic of it. I also think that Toronto is a great place where you can combine big career opportunities with comfortable living, and I know that not a lot of big cities can offer that, so for which I'm really grateful that I had a chance to kind of come here 7 years ago and settle down. To end the tour, I decided to bring you to the Riverdale Park. I've just been trying to film this for 10 times and I couldn't say the word properly. It's an amazing spot for skyline, for just an open, massive green space. I would highly recommend you coming here and exploring, and I really hope that this video will help you in, navigating through the city. As I mentioned multiple times in this video, all of the food recommendations will be saved on a Google map that you can access through the link in the description. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next one.